Alright, in this lecture, we're going to be going over how to create a reflective texture. So what exactly is a reflective texture? Well, the texture of a reflective surface is just a very smooth, glossy surface. So if something is really rough, it's going to be less reflective, and a really good example of something that's highly reflective and very smooth is a mirror in your bathroom. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing we're going to draw is we're going to draw a sphere that is reflective. Now this isn't going to be reflective like a mirror, but it's going to be reflective enough that it looks glossy. So the first thing you need to understand is that a reflection is just a copy of everything around it being projected onto your object. So with this sphere, for example, it's going to be reflecting anything that's pointing directly at it. So the first thing we're going to take into account is that it's sitting on a white surface. That means it's going to be getting a light reflection onto the bottom of our bowl. Then our horizon line is going to be dark, and as it moves up, it's going to turn into a lighter gradient. So let's go ahead and get started so I can show you what I mean. So first off, I'm going to add in my horizon line like so. And next, I'm going to go ahead and start adding in my reflections. So starting with the darker area, and this isn't going to be a completely reflective bowl. It's going to have some really microscopic rough areas, and so that's going to allow us to make this more of a hazed reflection rather than a really sharp, perfect reflection. So we're adding in this dark area right here that's going to slowly transition into a lighter value, because that's what it's going to be reflecting back here where we have our background. Our background is going to start out darker, and it's slowly going to transition into a lighter color. So we'll have that nice gradient background. And for now, I'm just going to rough this in, and we'll add in a lot more detail, make it look more realistic here in the next little while. But for now, we just want to rough it in so you start to get the idea of what I'm doing. And then our floor, or our area that the ball is sitting on, is going to be white, which is why we're getting this white reflection on the bottom of our bowl. So now let's go ahead and get started with adding in some real value. So I'm going to start off with this middle area, and so I'm going to add in a really dark value, and this isn't necessarily a shadow. This isn't our core shadow. This is a reflection of this background area that's surrounding our bowl. And then I'm going to slowly change that into the next lighter value. So we're going to start creating that nice gradient from one dark value to a lighter value as we move up our sphere. Now as we get up more here to the top, let's say that we have a light source right here in front of it, and it's a lamp, okay? So that means that we're gonna see that reflection on our glossy bowl. So let's go ahead and create a shape like so, maybe a little bit smaller, like so. And we're gonna leave that area out white because that's where our light source is going to be coming from. So I'm gonna go ahead and erase away the edges so it's not so dark. And then we can go ahead and start adding in our value right up to that point.